What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below and the length of this video, we're going to go in depth on how to get a guy to come back to you ASAP, as quickly as possible. And the way I want to do this is to break this video down in, I guess, 3 different chapters. The first chapter, the first thing we're going to talk about, which I personally think is the most important, is prevention. Things that keep a guy from coming back. We're going to try to eliminate those, or at least I'm going to bring those to your attention. Then the second thing is things we can actually do, or at least his mindset when it comes to coming back, like what's going to make him second guess what's going on, what's happening, his decision. And then, hopefully showing up at your doorstep, maybe not that creepy, but texting you at least and reaching out. And then lastly, how long does all of this actually take? Because there is a timeline, it's dependent on a lot of things. So with that being said, let's jump right in. When a guy is talking to a woman and he pulls away, okay, I always say, at least to my clients and in my other videos, that the reason he's pulling away is based on evidence. And what I mean by that is the brain is very evidence-based. Everything we're looking at, we're taking in through our 5 senses. It's coming in, we're creating a narrative, right? A perspective on it. So when it comes to you and him, it's going to start from day one, whether that's when you met or when you guys matched, all the way to when he decided, it's best we go our separate ways. Every single thing that happens in that gap, right, is what I call context. The things you guys do and say that layers up over time and creates the atmosphere or vibe that you guys have. And so he's looking at this and he's thinking, from what I have gathered, the evidence, from what I have gathered up to this point, I feel it is not in my best interest, or it is not best for me to continue this. Therefore, I am pulling away. So, how do we? What's the male's what's his perspective? What's he thinking during all this? I tell women a lot of the times, if you want to get a guy to be obsessed with you, it's not so much what you do, it's what you don't do. So when it comes to prevention, I guess what I'm trying to say with that is the male mind is in a certain frame, okay? It has a certain narrative going along, like a little movie going on in his head, how things are going to play out and how things have played out up to this point, right? And what I usually tell my clients is that the brain is very evidence-based, and everything in between, the things you guys do and say, is what I call context. Again, the things you guys do and say that layers over time, creates this environment, this atmosphere, usually moving towards seriousness, that dictates how this kind of unfolds, okay? And when you're talking to a guy who pulls away, what he's essentially saying is, everything up to this point, I do not feel it is best for me to continue, okay? Now, why is this important? Because this is the actual frame, this is the perspective that you're actually fighting against, or that you're trying to change to get him back, right? So the second chapter of this video, this is what you're actually trying to fight. It's this narrative in a guy's brain that says, I don't know. So there's several different narratives a man has, right? So one of them is, and I tell women this all the time, the guy actually could miss you, right? He could think you're great, but he doesn't come back because he doesn't think you're the one, okay? That could be one. Another is a guy thinks you're great, he thinks you're awesome, but he thinks something else is better out there. That's another one. Another negative, narrative a guy has is he likes you, but you guys been together, you're too nice, too sweet, too easy going. You thought I was going to say easy. Too easy going. Whatever. Give the guy too many chances that he takes you for granted, right? There's a bunch of different narratives. And I tell women, that it's almost more, actually it is more important. It's more important for a woman to focus on prevention than it is to actually do these things to get a guy coming back. Because think of it like this. If a guy has the perfect thing in front of him, why in the hell would he pull away? Not even a perfect thing, because that's unrealistic. I'm not saying you got to be this perfect 10 out of 10, but think of it like this. Like, if you and I were friends of benefits, and we're actual friends of benefits, and you're like, Elliot, no strings attached, I'm serious, I don't care, it's long distance, I'm busy with work anyway, I'm over here, you're there, we have our own separate lives, this is just fun, let's just do this. And you truly mean it. Why would I pull away? Okay, it's just pure assets for me. It's pure assets. I love this. Of course I'm going to continue it. The reason a guy pulls away though, ladies, like what prevents him from coming back a lot of the times is that's not the case. Is that it's never like that. There's always some like interior motive behind it, like from your end. So, and he knows this. And it's not bad that you have this. I'm not saying change this, because if you do, you actually like lower your standards to some extent. But it is important to realize that a guy can really like you, okay, but not come back because he feels like if he does, well, I haven't changed, so like this is going to happen again, or I haven't changed, I feel like I'm going to lead her on, or again, you see how it's building up, or I want to come back, but if I do, it gives her hope, and that's the thing I don't want to give her, therefore, I think it's best if I just go here or go do my own thing. So a lot of men, when they don't come back, it's a lot of the times, ladies, it's not because he thinks you're crazy. It's not because you guys fight all the time. It's because he's not, this is going to sound effed up, he's not convinced that you're the one. And it's not your job to create that narrative either. It's not your job. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I guess a better way to put it, a more realistic, because this is what I really think is going on, is it's kind of hard to prevent unless you're, and it's not your job to prevent it, ladies. If you're talking to a guy who's unsure what he wants, not you, he's just unsure what he wants, a good like trap he gets himself into that he doesn't even realize is the whole like shiny object syndrome thing, right? So the way that looks like in a relationship is the following. You're talking to a guy, things are going well, however, he wonders if things, and this is what I would call emotionally unavailable to some extent. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to get the best you can get, but when it's a pattern, especially when things are going well, it is a problem. You know, even though things are going well between you two, he's wondering, like, what if? Like, well, is this the one? Is she the best I can get? What else is out there? Like the grass is greener on the other side type of thing. And I really do think it's important that a man, I'm not saying let a man go to search this and let him come back, but one of the things that makes a man come back, and we'll get into all this, is him realizing, oh, that's actually fake grass over there. That's some whack ass shit. Like what I have is a good thing. But he doesn't really realize that as an emotionally unavailable man until he actually has to go walk on the grass and realizes this doesn't, it might look good from over here, but it does not feel good. This is fake as hell. This is like turf, right? And then comes running back to you. But don't worry, I'm not saying do that. And if you did, that's how you actually regain power. We could talk about that in another video. But to sum this up, a lot of the times, ladies, what makes a man pull away from the beginning is pressure or uncertainty. He's unsure about you. And if he continues along with this, he feels like he's obligated to give you something when he doesn't even know he can give it to you, whether that's through uncertainty or emotional unavailability. You know, in this case, as a high value woman, it is your job to let this guy go. Not let him go like he's a bird that you're trying to like teach to fly and he falls and you help him. No, and let him back in. No, it's just like, okay, you got to learn, like there's a repercussion to your actions, homie. Like you got to learn the hard way. If you're going to go, you're going to go. But it's not guaranteed you come back. And ladies, you have to follow through with this. You have to follow through with it. You can't just say this and then accept him back, because then you're never going to get him, which is actually what we're going to talk about in this next chapter. Okay, so what gets a man to realize he's an effing moron and comes running back? I do want to emphasize everything I just said in the last chapter, which is what you're trying to truly fight is the narrative he has in his head that this wasn't right, that I'm unsure about this, that she's not the one or you're not the one, right? Like that's the narrative you're fighting. And again, ladies, I don't actually want you to fight this because what any resources you put into trying to change his mind, you're actually losing power. That's the caveat with all this. That's why I always say a high value woman is a woman who no matter what, whether the guy likes her or not, whether the guy's in her life or not, whether the guy accepts her or not, whatever it is, she maintains this high value that I always say without structure, there's chaos. Like you just do you because this is what Mother Nature intended you to do. Mother Nature wants you to be a high value woman. Mother Nature wants you to be courted, wants you to be treated well. She doesn't want you to lower your standards just to get a mate, right? Now, I'm not saying everyone be high maintenance. Sometimes you know people's standards are so high, or maybe you're a 7, this guy's a 10, and that's obviously not going to work out. But what I'm saying is, if a guy's taking advantage of you or he's coming and going, like that, obviously, if it's messing with you here, stop playing the game. Okay, stop playing the games. Just be like, no, dude, I'm done. Easier said than done, but you get what I'm saying. Like without structure, there's chaos. There has to be some type of I think boundary that you cannot, like just for self-respect, that you cannot cross and that he cannot cross. In order to remain high value in the guy's eyes. A lot of women think that just because the guy comes and goes and does this and does that, he doesn't think she's high value. He might disrespect you, but he still at the same time respects you, if that makes sense, for at least holding your ground. Because there's some women, there's a lot of women, I mean, I do this for a living, who don't do that, and then they wonder why they're in the situation they're in. So anyway, how do you get a guy to realize he's an effing idiot? I say this in all my videos, ladies, and I kind of mentioned it there. You do have to fight the narrative he already has in his head. You do have to remain a high value woman no matter what, but you have to get him to regret it by following through. Now, there's a million ways you can do this, ladies. I didn't want to make the video where I say, post this on social media, or should you block him, yes or no? I don't really care if you block him. If it was me, actually, I probably wouldn't block him. If you did, keep it. Doesn't really matter. It's just a different route of going through, like, you know, the process of getting a guy to regret it. I would just post things, not over dramatically, you know, just like you kind of were, just pictures of you and your friends and your outfit of the day, whatever women do, their food or them at dinner, whatever. Just, he needs, what women don't understand is that guys go through the same, like, missing you process as everyone else. In the beginning, we're happy-go-lucky. Then from there, you know, thoughts are going to appear or come in our mind, and you're going to pop up here and there, and we're going to have lonely nights where we start missing you, okay? Same thing. But like I said, what prevents him from, he can miss you, but what prevents him from making the decision of missing you and, or prevents him from missing you and making the decision to be with you is, well, the cost, again, what comes next. Okay, yeah, I can miss you, I can reach out, but then what? Like, is she hopeful again? And if he's not ready, he's not ready. But you have to make a man feel the regret. Ladies, regret is it's so powerful. Besides love and loss, regret's the next strongest thing. It's self-inflicted. It means I had a good thing, and because of the decision I made, I effed up. It's my fault. And if I need to feel better, I need to fix it because she's not waiting. She's not chasing. So I tell women to get a man to come back, 2 things. 1, don't be the same basic ass chick you were. I'm not saying you are, but you know what I'm saying, that you were when he left. Like, I don't mean just you. I just mean the dynamic. Like, if you're going to fight a lot still, you don't fight. I'm not saying bite your tongue. I'm saying just don't put up, like just don't put up with it. Like, it's like, no, like, we're not doing this, bro. If you're coming back, it's this, like, again, you negotiate, but he can't, he can't come back to this environment where there's a lot of tension. You can't do that, ladies. You either have to shut up or fucking let him go, okay? And say, no, bro, it's this way. Or if he comes back and you lower your standards, the same thing's going to happen. That's just going to happen. But you have to negotiate to some extent where it's a win-win, but you're not lowering your standards. You can't fight. You can't be the same person in terms of looks and the environment and the situation when he comes and goes, because there's a reason, like I said, up to the point you guys met till the moment you guys broke up, that he decided to go off and do this. Now, if he's taking you for granted, that's one thing. But like I said, no matter what the situation is, they all fall under the same thing I'm talking about, the same category. You can fix all these just by holding your ground, okay? Holding your ground, being a high-value woman, meaning like not just texting or responding to his text when he texts you. The guy has to come back and said, I did some thinking. I'm an effing idiot. Can we talk? And then you could talk to him, and then you lay out your standards. Hey, I have no problem talking to you, but I feel it's not fair to me to waste my time and do this when we're not even on the same page. What's going on? I do not want to do this unless you're wanting something serious and we're moving towards serious, or unless you want a relationship and we jump into a relationship. We've been talking for 6 months. There's nothing else you need to know. And if he gives you some bullshit, hey, great homie, I understand. You're just not ready. Stop wasting my fucking time. And then you kick him, all right? But the way to do this, ladies, to give you an actual, game plan is, I think you have to be the best actress of all time. You have to follow through with no contact. None of this, I'm going to wait a month, I'm going to wait 2 months, I'm going to wait 3 months, 90 days and reach out. Oh, it's his birthday, I'm going to say it. Or ladies, I can't tell you how many clients, I'm not trying to dog on my clients, but it's almost like, I always tell them, if my clients are watching this, they'll know. I'll say, they'll cave. They'll do something stupid, and I just laugh and I say, "Hey, you'll learn." Mother Nature, ladies, Mother Nature wants you to be a high-value woman. That's how you survive in the evolutionary, mating pool, dating pool, by being a high-value woman. These women that undercut you and get the guy are getting played. You're getting played, right? It doesn't work that way. They're getting played. And what women don't realize that. The women who get married and get high-value men at the end of the day are the women who improve themselves. Like I said, if he pulls away, you're improving your situation. You're improving your health. You're improving your looks. You're improving your environment. You're improving everything. Your social skills, your spiritual, everything. You're improving it. And he realizes, oh man, it's not what I thought it was out here. It kind of fucking sucks. It's kind of lonely. At least when I was with her, she was a good-ass chick, and I just took it for granted. And yes, ladies, guys do reflect on this. They do. And then he comes back. And then when he does, you realize, or you had the discussion with him. But the only way you can do that is by holding your ground. And ladies will tell me, but Elliot, it's been 6 months that I haven't heard from him. Great, then move the fuck on. Like, grow a pair. Move on. It's been 6 months. What are you doing? Why the hell are you watching a video on trying to get a guy back who's banging other girls and hasn't even thought about you in 6 months? Move on, right? This is what I mean by the high value thing. The reason high value doesn't work for a lot of women is because you're portraying high value. You're not actually high value. Now, that's not me saying you're not high value. That I could just look at someone and tell from an evolutionary perspective. Of course, you could be the best mother, you could be the best daughter, you could be the best student, the best, at your job. You could be amazing for the community in so many ways. But from an evolutionary perspective, I can look right at someone and I can listen to, or I can look at them, listen to their story, and I can be like, oh yeah, he does not think this of you. Like he knows he has you. I do it all the time, right? And of course, a nice way, but I could just tell. I could tell every single time. Ladies, to be high value, you can't just portray these traits. I had a client a couple months ago who was trying all these things. And I'm just like, come on. And this isn't me dogging on her. I'm telling her this, right? And I'm just like, come on. Like, this is, like, I told her this is pathetic. I said, you're delusional. Like, the shit she was doing. Oh, if I do this, will I get him back? Why? What if I do this? What would happen if I did that? I'm like, the fact that you're asking me all these questions, you lost. You lost. What she did lose, by the way. She just wasn't listening. Or she did it all too late. But portraying high value and being high value are two completely different things. To answer the question for the second chapter on what you need to do and to get a guy back, ladies, because I know I'm going on these rants, but hopefully you're listening because I do think it's that important. You have to follow through. Doesn't matter if you get him back or not. That's not the goal. I know you think it is, but that's not what the goal is. The goal is to maintain structure. It's to be up here, to be the baddest bitch you can be, to be the most high value woman you can be. That's how you attract these guys. Not caving into them when they come back around because they didn't get what they wanted and the door's unlocked if you need to come back. Like, you're not doing that. Don't leave no doors up. Change the locks when he leaves, man. Change the locks. Guys, he doesn't deserve you. He has to beg. That's how the structure's created. If he wants to take a risk losing you, you need to follow through and there needs to be consequences. What's the risk? Like I always say, if a guy truly likes you, he won't put himself in a position to lose you. Then women wonder why guys put themselves in this position. It's because he knows he can't lose you. And then women come to me and give me all this money wondering why they're in the situation they're in. Ladies, you have to be the best actress. You have to follow through with this no matter what. The only time you're reaching out, I don't care if his fucking family's dying. I don't care if his dog died. I don't care if he lost his job. I don't care if he got COVID 15 times over. I'm not trying to make, fun of all that stuff or whatever, but you get what I'm saying. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what happened to him, right? You're not saying sorry. If he wants your comfort, he needs to come knocking on the door. He needs to come knocking on the door and begging to be back with you. It's not your job to fill this void of his because he took a risk going out there and couldn't find anyone else to do it. You got to understand, it's all a totem pole, man. Like, you're down here. If someone else wants him and he doesn't want you, but he wants her, it goes her. Well, it goes him because you both want him. Her, you. You got that. That's how it works. You don't owe this motherfucker anything, ladies. You have to follow through. Now, of course, lastly, how long does this all take? How long does it take for a guy to realize I'm an effing idiot? What was I thinking? Okay. And come running back to you. So I'm going to make a video in the future talking about how to get a guy to come back within a week. And there's caveats to that. So that'd be a different video. But I say on average, the fastest you can do this is on average. Yes, there's faster, there's longer, but I'd say 1 month to 3 months. And there's a reason I say this. I always say guys go through 4 stages. Like I said, everything from the point you guys met to the point you guys broke up, right? He has this perspective, this narrative. He thinks it's not going to work out. That's why he made the decision, which he feels is best for him, based on the perspective, to pull away, right? So stage 1 is the pulling away. I need to get out of this. He's not going to immediately regret it the next day. He's not, because first off, ladies, guys, think about this for a bit. It's not like he wakes up one day and realizes, I know it might seem like it to you where 1 week things were going well, the next week he breaks up with you, or he told me he loved me 2 days ago and now he's not talking to me. Guy's been thinking about it for a couple of weeks, okay? But with that being said, it's not going to happen in the beginning because a guy has to go, again, he has this narrative in his head. He's not going to think about it. The second stage is where a guy's, like I said, he's not going to think about it. He wants to go see if he made the right decision, so he has to go act on it. That's usually where, it takes about a month. He has to go act on it. Like I said previously, the grass is greener on the other side. He's taking you for granted, so the shiny assets you have aren't as shiny. He's come numb or null to them, so he wants to go elsewhere. But let's say it's not what he thought it was. Now it goes to stage 3, which is, okay, now I know what it's like without her, and I know what it's like with her. And then he puts up this pros and cons list pretty much. And, if he's made the right decision. And yes, the good news is he is going to miss you, ladies. I always tell women, not miss you, but he is going to reflect on it no matter what. This always happens. It's just human nature for us to reflect on the decisions we made. So you're going to be talking to a guy, and even though you haven't heard from him in a month, 2 months, 3 months, you did pop in his head. So there's your validation. There's that little bit of closure. I wonder if he's thinking about me. Yes, maybe not to the extent that you're thinking about him, but he is thinking about you. He is wondering what you're doing. He is finding ways to look at your shit without you knowing, right? Women will come to tell, well, let me put it a different way. I have so many friends and homies and people I know who will find ways to look at a woman's stuff or a chick's stuff, a girl he was dating maybe, and she had no idea. She had no idea it was happening. So I know if you're talking to this guy for 3 months and he broke up with you and you're looking hotter and you're still posting shit on the internet, whatever it is, or on stories and Facebook and Instagram, no, not Facebook, yeah, Facebook, Instagram, all that, like he's seen something. I promise you, he has seen it. Okay, but like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to come back, which is the fourth stage, which is, okay, I reflected on all this and I realized I made a mistake. Do I, should I stay or should I go? Should he come back or not? And like I said, that usually depends on these. Here it goes, ladies. What does this mean? Yep, we're going to go full circle now, all the way to the beginning. Prevention. The reason he pulled away in the first place. He's going to start asking himself questions. Did I make the right decision? Are things going to change when I come back around? Is she any different? Did I lose my chance with her? It's all, ladies, it's all risk avoidance. It's all about risk avoidance. If he thinks he made the wrong decision, he's going to come back, which is the exact same reason why he left you. He feels he made the wrong decision. So if you take what I just said and compile it into this video and all the other videos I make on no contact, male psychology, regret, getting a guy to miss you, all that type of stuff, you're going to realize that the common pattern or the common thing is risk. Men are trying to avoid risk. If he feels you are the right decision, right? You're the right girl for him. You are he sees you long term. He's not going anywhere. And unfortunately, I'm not saying this is good, and I'm not saying you need to take a guy back. I'm not saying this should always happen, but one of the ways he finds that out is by going out and exploring and then coming back to you. Again, you have to pay the cost for this, so that's why I tell women, if he pulls this shit, like, don't let him back in. But one of the ways a man needs to find this out for sure is to go take a break. We're on a break. Don't ever do breaks, by the way, because this is why. But he needs to go out there and express himself and to search and to do this. And then guess who's the insurance policy when it doesn't work? You. So never fall for that, ladies. Never, for the love of God, fall for that. But at the end of the day, to answer this question, it takes about a month to 3 months. If it goes on to 6 months, I think that's too long. I think that's a guy coming back for the assets, because where do these feelings come from? 6 months later, something didn't work out with him and needs someone to fill a void. And he remembers he left you and that you're hoping for him to come back, so he reaches out. But if you want more on all of this, ladies, or you want to get a session with yours truly, link is down below. I have 6 guides on all this stuff. Male psychology, how to get a guy to regret everything, no contact, how much did the guy actually like you, again, 6 guides. Or, like I said, you can get a session with yours truly. Link is down below. Ladies, I love you all. Take care and peace.